Hello, hello. So let's see what we have over here. Okay, right. So it says here, disturbing evidence of rural racism, says Country Files John Craven. John Craven. Is that a writer? John Craven. Oh, Countryfile. Okay, so that's a show. Since 1989, wants to find out what puts off those ethnic backgrounds. Okay. John Craven, the Countryfile presenter, has claimed there is disturbing evidence of racism in the countryside. Is it really though? Is it really? Because in small towns, people tend to be a little bit territorial. They have a small group of people that they know, and they're always kind of weird when they meet new people, right? So that's with any community, regardless of skin color, they're gonna be like that. So is it really racism, right? Because if they're doing it to like people of a similar skin color than them, you'll be like, okay, they just don't like they're not very friendly, they don't like strangers. But because they're doing it to people that are different skin color than them, they're racist. I don't know, man. I hate when people do that because a lot of people jump to conclusions just to make something racist. Like sometimes it could just be that the person don't like you or you're just not very good socially with them or whatever. It could just be an individual issue and rather than a group uh, um, hatred. Although many white voices would insist there's no racial prejudice in the Green Acres, researchers at the University of Leicester, 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 okay, had found clear examples. Craven wrote in an article for the BBC's Countryfile magazine. The university is carrying out 2-year survey to discover the true extent of rural racism. After speaking to Dr. Vijay Kupan, one of the academics leading in the study, Craven wrote, "Some of the results so far are disturbing." Is it? Is it really? He tells me about two women who live in rural areas, one brown and one black. Both were subjected to racist taunts, spat on in one instance, and weapons with intent to harm produced in another. Uh, was it an intent to harm if they just produced the weapons? Was it seems like the intent is to threaten. Very stark incidents of racial and engendered hostility. That I'm also skeptical about. I'm also skeptical about that because it could just be um, an asshole. Some people are assholes, and they could just be a very small percentage of our population, and they could just be going after you. And now they're reflective of the entire population. That doesn't make any sense. It could just be those people are assholes, and they have a lot of time on their hands apparently to be good taunting these women and doing all these ridiculous things. It could just be like they're just assholes. They couldn't even be. They might not even be racist. They could just be saying it because they know it will get a reaction out of you. Like some people are just like when they're trying to insult you or get a reaction out of you, they'll say the things that they know would get a reaction. It doesn't mean just because they're saying racist stuff that they're actually racist. It could just be that they know that is the thing that's going to get a reaction out of you. Or it could be that um, those women, when those people started antagonizing them, it could be that those women yell out something like, "Oh, you're just doing this because we're black and brown or whatever the hell, you're racist and all this stuff." So they're going to come back with something racist, right? You started the argument and you brought it in a race area, and they could just come back in that kind of instance. Does not necessarily mean those people are racist. So I'm always skeptical with these things. Dr. Kupan said racism can also appear in mundane ways, such as mutterings, stares, or laughter. Okay. So people just laughing is racist. People staring at you is like racist. People breathing oxygen is also racist. I mean, you're black. You're black and you're around them when they're breathing air, so it must be racist. In 2023, hate crime experts, there are hate crime experts. How do you become an expert at hate crimes? Uh, at the University of Leicester Center for Hate Studies. Wow. Wow. Some people putting their racist degrees to use, huh? You go to all those African studies classes, and then you're like, shit, what am I gonna do? Just start a research institute that makes my job seem relevant. Launch a project to establish the English countryside harbor reason. It aims or to explore the lived realities of those encountering racism, blah, blah, blah. All right, I get it. Craven, who has presented the question what it is about rural Britain that puts many people from ethnic minority backgrounds off visiting the countryside. It's the countryside. You're weird and different. I don't like when I say weird, I mean like you have a different culture, you have different mannerisms, you have a different way of speech than they do, right? And you go there, and also if you don't make the effort to socialize with them and have them be comfortable with you, what they're going to do is that you're the only newest thing around. They're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about you to everyone. And some people that are assholes in those groups are going to get curious because they heard the conversation. So they're going to go over there and they're going to mess with you. Like, that's just how it's going to go. Or if you go there and you ingratiate yourself to the community, you make friends, guess what those friends are going to do? When those people come after you, they're going to defend you. Like, it's being a human being 101. Like, you go to a new place, you gotta have to get to know people, right? Because the community is what's going to protect you. Craven, blah, 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 blah. Do they find it unwelcoming? He said, is racism worse in rural areas and towns and cities? Dr. Kaplan, who joined the study in university, blah, blah, blah. This includes encountering a man brandishing a large knife. Yeah, because he probably used the knife in whatever work he does or whatever hobby he has. So he just has the knife on him. So if you have a knife, you're more likely to brandish it in a confrontation. Like it just and using racial slurs while barring his entrance to a pub in Hartworth, Yorkshire, in the home of the Bronte sisters. Okay, so one guy was doing that. Does that mean everyone in the pub was racist? Does it mean everyone in the community was racist? That one guy. Craven said he hoped the 2-year study, which involves interviewing rural residents about their experience of racism, would help to lead towards a countryside where everyone, no matter what their color or background, feels like they belong. That's impossible. That's an impossible metric for success, so you will never reach it. How the hell is everyone going to feel like they belong? Unless they get to know other people and actually find their group, how are they going to feel that way? They're going to have to make the effort. The rules are not going to make the effort. They're living their lives. They don't have time for new people. You're going to have to make the effort to get to know them and make friends. He cited recent comments by Richard Benwell, the chief executive of charity umbrella group in the wildlife and countryside link. Mr. Benwell said there are many accounts showing that some people of color continue to experience racist comments and abuse when visiting nature. The trees are racist too. This is well evidenced, including the reports from government and from public bodies. In February, the Telegraph reported that I can't say that word. I learn new things every day, huh? Reported that Mr. Benwell organization had given evidence to Parliament that the British countryside has been influenced by racial colonial legacies. Okay, I guess. The claims were made in a report submitted to MPs on the APPG for race and community as part of a call for evidence on the link between systemic racism and climate change. All right, you getting way too ridiculous now. I can't even entertain that silliness anymore. These people have degrees. They're doing professional studies. Anyways, until next time.